I'm afraid that the
Okay.
world's coming to an end with it. Now, listen,
All
you
right.
talked about it today
I
with this
did.
eclipse.
Yes.
You know Glenn Beck is in full prepper mode, right?
What?
Glenn is in full prepper mode.
Glenn.
And I love Glenn. I do.
I
But
do too. But
I-
there's
all
always been
over social
there's
media-
a portion of Glenn that's a little wacky that adds to his charm. But whoa, what is he saying?
Well, I mean, remember something. I go to a business meeting the other day, and the lady that is reputable and credible, now I'm going to tell you right now, she's not some wild-eyed whack job.
Yes.
She's a credible person, has appeared on national television. So I'm not going to, she looked me in the eye and said, I'm not permitting my kids to leave the house on April the 8th. I have contacts in the world community who say it's going to be really bad.
is
Are you
Y2K.
ready for April 8th?
This is
I said, well, I'm going to be in
Y2K
Japan.
all over again. Yeah. Oh,
Well, yeah,
right.
probably,
Right.
probably, I guess. But I mean, you're right though about like there's been a state of emergency declared
It's like what?
in a number of states, not
Yes.
just New York.
Is
and
every county expecting Woodstock? Is every county expecting 500,000 visitors? I mean, it's going to be a thing. It's going to be something, and I hope it doesn't all fizzle because it's a cloudy day in the forecast at the moment.
Right.
But sure, I totally get it. But the degree of coverage and the breathlessness of the travel restrictions and states of emergency, they strike me as wild overreaction.
It just feels like something is up, though, and let's admit it. I saw last night because I was warned. Try to use WhatsApp when you're in Japan, and I don't use WhatsApp, but I figured out how to do that, and I've got that ready to go. Last night I got on social media. Notice WhatsApp is down worldwide. There's some kind of technical glitch with WhatsApp. Don't you think that the last couple of months there have been weird things like that that suggest something goofy might? I don't know. I mean,
sometimes goofy things happen. I don't know.
Well, here's what's not so goofy. Are you enjoying the meltdown as more and more people are starting to recognize Trump very well could win? There is a real emotional, meltdown. Right. But there is. I mean, I've seen people posting videos screaming, and Michael Cohen is flipping out. Gabriel Sherman writes a big piece at Vanity Fair. Now, Gabe Sherman, he's a good reporter, and he usually gets a lot of stuff right about Fox. He's the guy that has written all kinds of scathing things about Fox, but he is pretty well sourced and all of that. And he is he wrote a column saying why you should fear the very disciplined Trump campaign. What and how it's because look, I mean, Biden is now trailing. Wall Street Journal poll yesterday, Biden's trailing in 6 of the 7 battleground polls. He's going to go off in Mar-a-Lago this weekend. You know, the Democrats were all giddy about $26 million that Barack Obama raised at Radio City Music Hall. It's a good amount of money, right?
Sure.
Trump said, hold my beer. $43 million expected to be raised this weekend at Mar-a-Lago. He's on track to raise $43 million. It's an event that many billionaire Republican donors are considering the kickoff for the general election.
Oh, and listen, and just days later, the fundraising event of the century as his trial begins on the 15th, right? The hush money trial, where he will have to be there. He'll be holding news conferences and campaign rallies in the lobbies and on the steps and in the parking lot, wherever they'll let him do it. It's going to be crazy.
It's wild. And you know, speaking of Axios and Mike Allen, he writes a piece today. One big thing behind the curtain, how Trump's mind works. And it's all about how Trump controls the surround sound stereo system at Mar-a-Lago on the breezy dining patio with his big iPad and its Spotify list. And it goes through his playlist. Because he alone controls the music. The music is big names. And listen, I think Mike Allen thought it was a criticism. I'm looking at it, I like the guy.
You're going to get some Lee Greenwood, I'm guessing.
All right, here it is. Here's the list.
Okay.
Phantom of the Opera, Jesus Christ Superstar,
Excellent.
Elvis, Especially Suspicious Minds,
Hello
by Lionel Richie, Guns N' Roses, November Rain.
See what he did there. See what he did there.
The duet see what he did there. James Brown, Luciano Pavarotti. It's a man's world. He even likes some Sinead O'Connor's "Nothing Compared to You." Elton John's a big favorite. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
So cool.
Incidentally, can I make a quick note about pop culture and music? I have to admit something. I don't know anything about Taylor Swift. I don't know her music. I think I know one song that I've kind of heard in there, something about karma.
Yes.
Karma's a boyfriend or something.
Yes.
I've heard that, but that's the only song I've ever heard. I was channel surfing last night. I was a little bored. I'm packing. I'm trying to. Incidentally, I'm trying to figure out how to just carry on.
Do it.
I've never
Please
done that
do
on it.
Wouldn't
that be great?
I have not checked a bag in 20 years.
I never check a bag when I fly domestically, but I've always checked a bag. I'm going to be gone for 8 days.
Well, you think they have laundry in Japan? I have a feeling somebody halfway through your trip will clean everything that you have and gladly return it to you.
I think I can do it. I'm going to take a wheelie, and I'm going to take a backpack, and I'm going to just, because I don't want to check bags. And it is, by the way, you were asking about the airports. It's I'm going to go to the Haneda Airport, which is right in Tokyo, apparently. So anyway, I'm packing. I'm thinking I got to be smart. I just got a couple pair of shoes, so I'm channel surfing. Taylor Swift's big blockbuster movie is out.
The Eras Tour.
The Eras Tour. Again, I don't know anything about this.
Did you catch some of it?
I watched about a half hour of it, and I'm fascinated. You know what I'm fascinated by?
What's that?
The stagecraft. My gosh. It was filmed in Los Angeles at the SoFi Stadium.
Genius.
Mark, the money they put into that show. I mean, the sets and the she's flying around. And think about, she's 34 years old. She's a billionaire now.
How many Bentleys can she drive?
Gosh, a billionaire, Mark. And she's one of the only artists who is a billionaire based on her own work. In other words, a lot of artists have it based on other things and other investments.
Or they don't write their own stuff. She writes all of her own stuff.
She writes her own music. I mean, I asked one of my kids that question last night. I said, does she write all these songs? They said, well, she collaborates with a lot of other writers, but it's basically hers. I mean, she writes it. She owns it. That's she's worth $1.1 billion. Can you imagine standing in a stadium, in an arena, and having hundreds of thousands of people, and they're all there to see you? What that must feel like.
And doing it, and then 3 days later, doing it again in some other city.
Doing it again.
It's just that's the level of adulation, and she deserves all of it.
Well, I don't know if she does or doesn't. I mean, she might. She's gonna. What? I don't. What do you mean deserves it? Who deserves it? I don't know. You deserve $1 billion because you sing.
Hello, Marketplace.
I don't know.
Marketplace? Are you going to tell me why does Taylor Swift make more than my kid's teacher? I mean, don't do that.
No, I know that. I get that.
Everybody
but I don't think
in the marketplace, every athlete, every actor, every singer deserves every dime they make because it's a representation of how interested the public is in you.
Yeah,
and the
true.
The only things that can make you less deserving, just sort of in the overall scheme of things, is if you seem to be like a terrible person. We're just finishing hour 9 of Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm trying to work my way through that, and it is a masterpiece. DiCaprio is a genius. Of course, we know he's an idiot. De Niro is a genius, and he's just a malicious idiot. But the movie is so incredibly good. But bottom line for Taylor Swift, the songs are good. All she does is make people happy, and everybody that bags on her is just being a jerk.
Listen, politically, she's not aligned with us. She's a Biden supporter. I mean, nobody is. I mean, the whole world's, look at Newsmax. Did you see what Newsmax did? They did a retraction, and they said that they posted the article. It was reposted from Reuters.
You and I talked about this yesterday. It contained a really snarky phraseology about Trump talking about the criminal illegal aliens as animals and not human, blah, blah, blah. Talking about the people, the guy that killed Lake and Riley. And then supposedly to make this better, they said, oh, we're sorry. We took that down. We just posted a story from Reuters. Like nobody reads the stories you post? Hello? Can you get an intern?
Yeah, maybe you double check if it's Reuters or the AP because they're woke and they're biased. What a weird mistake that was.
Really odd.
But I'm glad they took it down. I'm glad they acknowledged it. I'm glad they haven't gone. Well, anyway, final bit of advice from Texas.
Yes.
It's common courtesy to wear your backpack in front. Like on trains. I'm not wearing the backpack in front.
How many things?
They're going to have to arrest me. They're just going to have to. I'm not going to get pushed by anybody with white gloves. I'm going to ask for cheeseburgers. I may or may not bow, and I may check in. We might do a 7:35 from Tokyo.
Don't tease me, man. Don't tease. It'll be 9:30. It'll be 9:35 at night.
Yeah, so, I'll be up 9:35 at night. I'll be up, and I just saw Jimmy Kimmel monologue this week. Apparently, he went to Japan. I know, and you know what he said? He bagged on the U.S. Something I'll never do by pointing out how much cleaner and better Tokyo is and Japan than the United States.
Well, yeah.
He said The bathrooms, he said, in Tokyo are cleaner than our operating rooms in hospitals.
Distinctly possible.
I mean, he went on and on about how wonderful and incredible Japan. I thought, well, I don't want to be aligned with Jimmy Kimmel.
No,
I'm not sure I want to be aligned with Taylor Swift. I mean, I'm nervous about all of this today. That's why I need a vacation. I need a break.
Just superb. Mike at 9:30 in Japan. I just please let it be. Can we find you like 6 sakes in at a karaoke bar? That's what I want for the 9:35.
Deal. Singing show tunes. I'll be singing Phantom of the Opera.